You're probably wondering where I've been the last couple of days. Well, let me tell you something. I was in a whole lot of pain, and I still am just a little bit. But the story of how I got that pain, it's actually now kind of funny. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. So this video is just kind of a quick update for two reasons. One, I want to show off the redesign of my studio. My super cute wife, who is also my producer on this vidcast, she wanted to revamp it, and because of my injury, why I was laid up for 2 days, she decided to try her hand at redecorating it. I gave her my full blessing because she's a master decorator. And behold, the new Studio Jake studio. So I'll back out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. Anyway, she did a fantastic job, and kudos to her. Thank you, babe. I love you so much. You did an amazing job. All right, so why was I laid up where she was able to get in and redecorate without causing a disruption? Because I was the disruption for a change. Well, so the story is actually kind of funny now. In the moment, it certainly was not. But basically, what happened was I had wanted a new desk. Y'all probably remember my desk previously. It was this huge black desk and it had a shelf attached to it and it was massive. Well, I decided that I wanted to streamline a little bit and get myself like a smaller writing desk, which is what I'm talking from now. So I'm a cheapskate. That's true. I'm a cheapskate. I've been using the same camera and microphone for probably 4 or 5 years now, just because they still work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, my microphone is actually starting to wear out. I will need a new one soon, but all in good time. Point is, it's true, I needed a new desk because that behemoth was just taking so much room and I wanted to utilize my studio space a little bit more. Lo and behold, I found kind of an L shaped table that could be used as a desk. And I thought it would be really good because it was from IKEA and I found it at a thrift store for well below IKEA prices. You know, IKEA, a door handle is like $2,000. Well, this table, it was very high quality, and like I said, it was an L shape, perfectly adaptable to become a desk. It was smaller than the behemoth I was using before, and I thought, hey, this is a great find. So bought it from the thrift store. Well, the guy who was supposed to help me load it into my vehicle, he was about to clock out and he didn't want to help me, so he just clocked out and split. The manager of the thrift store was kind of furious about this. So I had to load it on my own. Now, my super cute wife was with me, but I needed her to hold open the trunk because our trunk is very finicky. Sometimes it'll just slam shut randomly. Well, I didn't want this to happen while I was loading this table. I didn't want it to just come down and damage the table or me. So she's holding it up. So I'm lifting this heavy thing. Now, this next part sounds like it's from a sitcom, but by the Matrix, it is the truth. So I'm lifting it, trying to slide it in from this side where the curvature was, and I'm trying to push it into the back seat into our SUV's trunk area, and I hear the loudest burp I've ever heard in my life, in real life, I should say. And I turn around, and there's this guy. He's just like some average Joe, walking toward me, and he burps again at me. And I kind of like raise my arm, and he goes, "Oh, sorry about that." And so I'm like, It's fine." And so I'm still trying to put this thing into the SUV, and then he goes, "Hey, you need to take the legs off that table." And I was like, "No, I don't. It'll fit fine. I just need to get it in." And then he says it again. "You need to take the legs off the table." I turned to face him, still holding on to one of the legs. And I said, "Thank you, sir. I'll consider it." Well, he goes into the thrift store. Well, when I turned back, I didn't know this at the time, but the connector of the leg I was holding came loose and the leg shot up from the momentum of all that weight being detached from it and whacked me right in the chin, right here. And I fell hard on my butt. Like, I thought I broke my tailbone. That's how hard I landed. And the table missed me, fortunately, when it fell down. And the table leg also hit me in my leg. There's a huge bruise there where it hit me. Well, I'm like, ugh. Whenever it fell, that first leg that popped off, I guess the reverberation also knocked off the other leg. Well, then it was super easy to load because the legs I wasn't having to play Tetris with the legs. So I picked it up and put it in. My poor wife, she didn't know what to do because where I had landed, if she had let go of the trunk and it had done that sudden fall that our trunk sometimes does, it would have hit me in the back of the head. So she's kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do. Do I help him or do I keep the trunk open? So I stand up and I said, well, that hurt. Well, as I'm pushing the table in, all of a sudden I feel something on my beard and I realize that I'm bleeding. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And my poor wife, she doesn't handle blood very well, but she kept her wits about her and was like, okay, I think we need to go see a doctor. And I said, no, 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 we don't need to see a doctor. It's fine. I'll stop the bleeding with napkins we have in the car. I'll put some hand sanitizer on it. It'll be fine. And she's like, no, we're going to the doctor. So she gets in the driver's seat and I have like all these napkins right here. And we're driving to the doctor. And I'm still trying to convince her just to take me home. And she's like, no, what if you need stitches? We need to go to a doctor. So we went to a clinic. The front desk lady, she was perfectly polite. I want to make that clear. She was in no way, shape, or form rude to me, but you can kind of tell that people had been coming in and out. And she was like, are you a new patient? Yes. Okay, I need you to fill out this form. And she goes, what are you in for? And I held up my hand because my hand was still covered in blood. And I said, I injured myself. And she goes, oh, she put me on kind of a fast track. And by then I think it had actually stopped bleeding after I filled out the form. The nurse came and got me. We didn't wait that long at all. She came and the nurse, again, I want to say this nurse was very professional. So she looked me over and was like, you might need stitches. And I said, oh man. And she goes, well, I'm not a doctor. Let the doctor come in and look at you. But she's like, this looks pretty bad. And I said, well, is it just a scratch? She said, no, Mr. Airy, which I don't like being called Mr. Airy. I like being called Jacob, but she was being nice, so I didn't want to correct her. She goes, this is a gash. This isn't just a scratch. This is a full-on gash. She comes in and she does all the stuff they're supposed to do. And then the doctor comes in. And again, I want to just stress how great this doctor was. And she looked me over. She was like, okay, I don't think you need stitches, but do you? So I asked her, would I have to shave off my beard? And she goes, yes. And I said, well, then is there another option? And she said, well, I'm going to use surgical glue because I don't really think you need stitches, but I'm going to surgically glue it. She does this and we talk for a little bit. She's like trying to just chat at me so I don't get discombobulated from everything. Because I was at this point, my chin, it was hurting. So I tell her what happened exactly as I told you, although I left the part about me using a Transformers reference. She said, hold up, was this table leg metal? And I said, well, the top was wood and the legs were metal. She goes, well, you need a tetanus shot. She goes, when was the last time you had one? And so I thought it had been a long time. I think it's something like 11 years. I think it was when my wife and I first got married was the last time I had a tetanus shot. So I said about over a decade. She goes, yeah, you definitely need one. So she gave me a tetanus shot in my left arm. That was on Saturday. I wake up Sunday and I'm in a lot of pain. My chin is achy and my arm is hurting from the tetanus shot. So I ended up even taking the day off work on Monday to take an extra day to recover. And on Tuesday, I had to go back to work for my day job. And I was just coming back to my day job and then still in a lot of pain. That's why I delayed the Tuesday recording. So sorry about that, everyone. I know there's been a lot of pop culture stuff that has come up. There's a new Superman trailer that I want to talk about. Spider-Man Noir's teaser leaked. And there's a whole bunch like Ironheart coming out. And I want to talk about all those. So let me know in the comment section below. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the Ribiverse, which I know I'm a little bit behind on their Saints and Sinners release, but I do want to talk about that. But let me know how you want me to approach the trailers. Do you want me to do an individual video for Superman, Ironheart, and Spider-Man Noir? Or would you like me to do just one video where I just kind of touch on all three of them? Let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And thank you to everyone who wished me well, who said get well soon. I really appreciate it. All of you are awesome. Thank you so much. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, tell what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. Another great way to support me is to head on over to my website, studiojakemedia.substack.com. You could subscribe there and read most of my articles for free, or you can become a subscriber, and different tiers unlock different awards. You can also purchase my novels there. That would be another great way to help me out. If you want to know more about my books, head to studiojakemedia.locals.com, where I also have my short stories and poems published. Once again, thank you so much for the well wishes, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.